now, let me explain in detail the body mechanics for those exercises to help you feel the rotational force or the spiraling force. We start with the stance. The first exercise, first you need to, from the stance, lower your body. And like this. So you're not standing upright. You're lowering the body so it helps to connect your upper body and your arms with your lower body. From this position, what you want to do is from the side view, first you twist to the left. Both hands and arms twist to the left and extend forward and pull it back and twist to the right, both hands and arms, and stretch forward and pull it back, left twist, pull back, right twist. So you continue alternating left, right, left, right. As you're doing this, as you're doing the rotations left, right, you want to stabilize your lower body, your legs. So there's a tendency as you're stretching and you're rotating your hands and your arms, you are pulling your lower body with you. For example, like this, 1, 2, 1, 2. Instead, what you want to feel is that as you're doing the rotations, your lower body is stabilized. There's a subtle movement of your quad, your hip joints. Left, right, left, right. There's a slight forward and backward shift. And maybe beginning, you don't even feel the shift of your quad. So what you do first, just don't move your legs and just work on the arms and focus on the breath. Inhale when your breath is full, take a quick exhale and then inhale, continue to inhale. So you start by just working with the upper body, the arms doing the spiraling force. And you want to feel comfortable doing this, and your shoulders have to be engaged. It's not just the arms doing the work, but also is pulling, as you're doing the spirals, is pulling on your shoulders. So your shoulders are getting pulled. So for example, I'm rotating to my left shoulder is getting slightly lifted, and my right shoulder is getting slightly pulled inward close. So one shoulder opens, the other shoulder closed. As I spiral to my right shoulder is getting lifted slightly and my left shoulder is getting closed off slightly. So you are alternating between left and right. As you continue to do the spirals with your arms over time, you will connect the arms with your torso, with your legs. So over time, what you're supposed to feel is that as you're doing the spirals, your whole body is getting pulled in the direction of the spirals. So I'm creating one spiral with my left arm, I'm creating another spiral with my right arm. As I'm rotating, first my torso is getting pulled in this direction, and then my legs are getting pulled in this direction, and then my feet are getting pulled into this direction. So it becomes that your whole body, starting with the feet to your knees, to your quad, to your torso, shoulders, arms, and hands and fingers, all going in the direction of the spiral, getting pulled upward and forward. And if I'm doing the other direction of spiraling right spirals, then again I'm feeling this pulling And while you're doing this, you need to grip your feet so you establish a strong root, strong connection to the earth. That's the physical body, right? Physical body feeling the sparrows and feeling your whole body getting pulled in the direction of the sparrows. So therefore, as you're getting pulled, over time, your intention is that because it's a sparrow and the pulling is not the linear pulling, it's not just a straight line. So I'm pulling up from my feet up to my knees, quad, torso, arms, hands, fingers. It's not linear. So the sparrow starts from the bottom of your feet through your ankles, so it's spiraling upward through this imagination, okay, to your legs, to your waist, and then upper torso, arms, and hands. This is the physical body requirement. And after you establish this connection, as you do it more and more, the force is not initiated from just your arms, just your hands. The force is initiated from your abdominal center. But you start with the outside stimulation with your hands, with your arms doing the spirals. And over time, as you're doing this and you coordinate the breath, it goes into deeper into the body. So therefore, as I do this, do these spirals, what is driving the force behind the spirals is not the physical body, but the abdominal center is moving to create the force behind the spirals. So therefore, you are connecting the physical movement with the force from inside of your abdominal center. Now, second exercise. To start, you need to start with a wider stance. And from this wider stance, you need to squat down, lower your center of gravity. Start with first the left palm out, facing up, and the elbow slightly bend inward towards your abdominal center. And the starting point is that the weight is equally weighted on both feet. First thing you do is you shift your weight to your right foot and palm facing up. After you shifted your weight, you flip your palm and pull it to the left. And shift your weight to the left. And pull to your right. You flip your hand again, pull to the right. Shift your weight. Once you finish shifting your weight, you flip your palm facing forward, and shift your weight to your right, to the left. While you're doing this, as a pulling your hand, your elbow is getting pulled more inward towards your abdominal center, and your waist is turning slightly, and you need to keep your quad, your hip joints, as maintaining in this position, so you're not pulling your whole leg into one direction. Your knee needs to be bent, and so when I'm doing this, I'm not doing this. Okay, what I'm doing is, as I'm pulling to my right, my left knee needs to maintain in place, and what I'm doing, I need to stretch my hip joint, left hip joint, and the right hip joint fold inward to allow the weight shift. So the weight shift doesn't happen just because I'm moving my legs, moving my body. So the weight shift is more so is the left hip joint and the right hip joint coordinating to cause the weight shift. So the weight shift is very subtle. It's not a very obvious weight shift. So again, I pull to my right. I maintain the knee in position and open or pull on my left quad, left hip joint, and folding my right quad, my right hip joint, which allows the weight to shift to my right foot. And then I flip the palm and I shift the weight to my left by, again, keeping my right knee in position, pulling and opening my right quad, my right hip joint, and folding my left quad or my left hip joint, which allows the weight to shift to the left. And then again, I shift. And same thing with the other hand, right hand. It's the same. First palm facing up and elbow goes inward towards your abdominal center. First, I shift my weight to my left side by opening my right hip joint and folding my left hip joint, and flip the hand and pulling to my right. Keep the left knee in position, open the left hip joint, close the right hip joint, and shift the weight to my right, and then switch left and right, left and right. And the idea is you start with the physical body. So as you're doing this, you are creating spirals, inward spirals. So here I'm creating an inward spiral as I'm pulling my elbow in and keeping my palm up, and then I flip, and then in and up. Over time, the physical body from the outside will stimulate the inside, so therefore over time your abdominal center will be able to create the force, the movement, the rotational force that drives the spirals. For the third exercise, it is the same requirements as the second exercise. It's just with the third exercise, you are using both hands to do the spirals, the rotations. From the stance, you start with first turning to your left. When you're turning to your left palm is facing forward, your right palm is on the bottom facing up. And keep your knee in position, stretch open your right quad, fold your left quad, shift your weight to the left, and then I switch by first bringing my right hand up, my left hand down, and then flip the palms. So now my right palm is facing forward, my left palm on the bottom is facing up, and I shift weight by maintaining this left knee in position, stretch open my left quad, and fold my right quad to allow the weight to shift to my right side. And from here, I switch the hands up and down and flip the palms. And same thing here. I flip the palms, switch up and down. And with both hands doing the work, one hand and the arm is doing an inward spiral, and the other hand, the other arm is doing an outward spiral. So for example, if I'm shifting my weight to my left hand and arm is doing an outward spiral, and my right hand and arm is doing an inward spiral. And once I shift my weight to my left, I switch the hands up and down and flip the palms. And so now, when I'm turning, I'm shifting weight to my right side, my right hand and arm is doing an outward spiral, and my left hand and arm is doing an inward spiral. So it's an inward and outward spiral at the same time. And over time, the spirals from the outside will stimulate the force from your abdominal center. So the spirals over time are driven by the force from your abdominal center.